Nobody really knows. You can see some optimists will say 2023, some pessimists will say 2027. I think maybe more around the 24, 25 timeframe we may get up to pre-COVID. That's not the same as where we would have been if there wasn't COVID, but I think the cargo relevance is going to be maintained, particularly as well, Sam, sorry, it's a long answer here. All the economic factors that you mentioned also means that the global economy is in a pretty healthy position. And that the cargo growth, and when your projections of all the international financial institutions, etc., and economists going forward, show that the air cargo industry is going to be under these continued stresses and challenges for a good few more years, notwithstanding passenger networks getting back up and running. That's not going to be sufficient.
Okay, that's good news then, sure. So let's pick it up and let's make sure that we show our abilities and capabilities for the airline CEOs as well. Okay, over to you, Raheem.
Of course, COVID era has come with a lot of challenges, both domestically and globally, and of course it's affecting airlines also mainly. Also, one of the main challenges when the pandemic first announced, outbreak and after the pandemic, it was like we just lost our network, a huge part of the network. And of course, as an air carrier, we want to first react to how we can recover it, first of all. And at the same time, we always used to open, closing, lockdowns, and of course, human factors is the main challenge for us, for all the companies and sectors. Of course, one of the first reaction of the airlines was the started to use the aircraft, the passenger aircraft, as a cargo operation. And we are one of the main carrier of the started doing it. Of course, even with all these conditions, we having like 300 destinations before the pandemic, but with all these effort, we can reach up to 110 destinations at the beginning of the era. Now, as you said, it's yesterday mentioned, we are invested recovery right now, almost maybe before pandemic, especially in the US, we have maybe, I can say, more capacity. We have still restrictions on the South India and of course the Far East, but we are hoping that it will return back to normal soon. And of course, as I mentioned, we are almost operating more than 2,000 cargo only passenger flight operation. But at the same time, with the rising of the passenger numbers and passenger aircraft numbers, at the same time we started to lose them the passenger operation. But we have some alternative solution for these challenges also. And with this alternative solution, maybe we are using some seat removal aircraft to at least support the previous origins for the air cargo operation. Yes, these are, I can say, the main challenges we face with the time.
Thank you, and I'm sure that your CEO really appreciates what the cargo team has done, right?
Of course, when we checked the revenue-wise contribution at the beginning of the corona was huge. Cargo business and get up the company to survive this main reason to survive the airline business. And of course, it's gaining appreciation, and I hope it will continue upcoming days when the airline passenger business come back to normal also. Yes, right now, I think that we are the start of the inside competition.
Thank you. Michael?
Yeah, I would like to take up one point what Glenn was mentioning all these other issues which we had before, war, security, volcano, they have always an impact in Airfreight. They have always a big impact in the airline industry. And over all the years, what I realized, and especially with COVID, because when COVID started, I also were never expecting that it is still ongoing in 2021, and really also in 2022. So everyone was maybe expecting for 3, 4, 5 months, and then it gets back to normal. But what we realized directly was, I think we all together are in a team, sitting in a team and create solutions. We create solutions for the industry, for shippers, for importers, for government. And when the first statistics came in about the medical, what they will found for COVID, I could remember that there was mentioning that the number of aircraft will never make it possible to move all at one time, but the industry can't make it possible to produce all the vaccine at one time as well. And today everyone worked with that in different areas like pharma, food transport, in containers, in charter flights, whatever is possible. So I see it as that we are creative and we found new ways. We attract cargo to carriers which were never listened to you before, because I know that from GSA, when you talk to a charter carrier who is carrying passengers to Greek or to whatever places, they were never thinking about cargo. Now they took the seat out and carry cargo. So, and then they realize now that this is a huge impact on the revenue, or maybe the only revenue they have actually. And that is important, and that I would like to have, that we can continue this for the next couple of years, but we can do that only together. That is here, not one single airline can't do that, not a GSA, not another organization. What my concern is at the moment is we forgot demand. The manpower behind of that. Loaders, and if I see that, I can only speak for some countries in Europe, if I see this disaster in Frankfurt meanwhile, loaders at all the big engine companies, they are overworked, they are ill, they're getting ill, they are short of working. Trucks are waiting there 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours in line to get offloaded or get the import collected. Import check-in takes 2, 3, 4 days sometimes. Pallets parked outside. I think that is something what I would like to see, what also Glenn and Horman mentioned yesterday, to work together in the GIACA, to find solutions for it and make them sensitive for these things, because that helps us, and that will see then also stability in the airfreight production. That is more or less my point to that issue.
Excellent. I mean, cooperation within the logistic members is critical to success.
NAP is one of them, possibilities, opportunities for we have to work together. That is, in my opinion, the most important issue. Always the suppliers in share.
Absolutely. Teamwork is always better than I.
Teamwork and communication.
Yeah. Thanks, Michael. Okay, Christoph, let's see.
So yes, I would like to take the view from an ethical water associated to what happened last year. So there was a trend before COVID, I would say that was made from a global freight forwarders, that they could easily make a block space whenever an ABCP, let's say from Europe or America, they were just clearing an SOP, they were doing some people that they were not trained, had no idea how to verify, how to make money, how to get consolidation or mix stems and get one cargo in one pallet. We just giving an SOP and everything was fine. The BSA rate, 1 year around, 3 seasons, and everything. Once the whole thing happened, then the traditional freight forwarder had to be transformed to a project, to a proper airfreight project. You had to find solutions, different gateways, different origins, you had to know the schedule, from there to down. And finally, I think the industry respected those real airfreight logistics experts, small and medium sized. What the big ones, they don't know it. But just an SOP, and then they will have 5 solutions, but they were not trained. They have no idea which one is right from Vienna, from Amsterdam, from Brussels, or from Guangzhou, Shenzhen, how to find solutions for the client. They will not do it. So that's very important, I would say, for the small and medium sized airfreight, for what it is. And obviously, in markets like Asia or Europe, we have a lot of gateways and airports to play, and that was really important. So, the last month, we've seen the trend, actually, I'm seeing the trend, speaking with the airlines, and obviously, Turkish Cargo is focusing a lot on the SME, small users, and for a long time. But I was surprised, and we've seen airlines that they are hiring now global directors of SMEs that never happened in the past in the airline industry. So, this is very positive, yes. And so, yes, actually, that's why this conflict toward it has been transformed to a work training is not what we need. It's our people. How do we really make money for everything? How do we buy products? How do we help stores? And how do we get advantage of the people with the network like AAP or others? There are more synergies than I'm afraid. I mean, something like having to be, you got too many members from this country, that's like, look, on the industry, that's it. We don't have our specialists. We cannot do all the same thing. So we gotta I would say, we have to acquire extensive knowledge from industry experts. And they're very consolidated, but I have no idea from farmers. Right now, we go to that and can you teach me how that work? That's right. Maybe I'm a very good, I would say, there are actually the work that you teach by the trading, but I have no idea from time to time, from what it's completely different business or systems and funding. That's why we're here. I think, as Mike said before, as a group, we can work together. Airlines, GSAs, brokers, transport workers, really acquire sensitive wallets and move forward.
So I mean, the key is working together and gain that knowledge. So have that knowledge, for example, in training, right? So given what Chris has just said, would Chiaka or some of the associations actually then change their focus in training to reflect what Chris has just talking about?
And absolutely, Sam. And I think Christos is, and in fact, everybody who's all talked about is that if anybody thinks that the industry is going to return to normal, forget it. But also, this industry has never had normal. It's never been the same. You know, every 2-3 years, something different comes in. The products move, they're different. So I think going forward, we have to look at equipping the next generation workforce with the right tools. But it's also recognizing that that next generation workforce is going to be different from the previous generation workforce. They're going to need different motivators. I think the next generation is going to want to look at value creation, their role. And this comes in exactly to what's already been said, which is the fact that agile, working together, solution finding, these are all things which will actually help bring in that next generation of workforce. It's also a very competitive global environment to try and bring in people, so we shouldn't just focus on the next generation young, we need to create opportunities for all. So I think that's also where training will have a very important role. And Tiaka is absolutely working through people like Christos at the board driving us, looking at how we can play a role in making training accessible and affordable. Because historically, and a previous employer of mine, IATA, has a very good training program designed around people flying around the world into a small number of different classroom areas, Singapore, Miami, Geneva, those.
The drone story.
You talk too much.
I know my wife is in the room, so it's like I have she switched the mute switch on.
You just told me.
So that type of training, I think, is finished. I think nowadays the idea, first of all, which organization in this room or any room can afford to send good quality people away for a week to a high cost area to sit in a classroom to be trained from a book about how the industry operated in 1978. The training is going to have to be more equipping people to deal with what's coming up, not what has happened in the past. And I think going forward, I think we should be inspired by the past to be prepared for the future. And I think that's where the training aspect needs to come in as well. It's about equipping people with the tools and the skills necessary to be able to work collaboratively and respond to whatever is going to be placed tomorrow. If we had gone back 3 years and somebody had come to you and say, right, I'm going to project that within 2 years' time, now let's say this is in 2018, we're going to be flying 3,000 787s, 777s, A350s, A321s with all the seats removed and boxes on the floor with nets over them, with what we're going to call cargo marshals, which are cabin crew, sitting in the crew, monitoring the cargo because there's no fire detection. How many people in this room would have taken that bet? Apart from Sandy's visionary, who would have said, I knew this would be coming. Everybody else would have said, you're crazy. What are you drinking? You know? So I think that's where we have to think of what happened. Yeah, now, we also have to give credit to regulators. Regulators, had some airlines who said, I'd like you to do a safety certification piece because I want to put 2,500 boxes in the cabin, on the seats, strapping them in. An aircraft's original certification is to carry cargo under the seats in the overhead compartments, but not on the seats, certainly not have the seats removed. So they responded quickly. So, meanwhile, some of the passenger colleagues, I thought they still think it's going to be wrapped up in 3 months, COVID. Even though we're 21 months into this, they said, we finished in 3 months. Yeah, so
They started in one day, but they watched that very carefully. When they realized that all the other belly carriers are parked somewhere in the world, they realized, and then they noted that cargo is transported from China, from anywhere to any place, and then they realized that these airlines making now additional money, but they never made before, and they said,
exactly. And just one last thing, Stan, about training. When people say how the passenger industry had reacted, they just grounded aircraft, and even today, many of them, and forgive me for saying this about IATA, for 10 years, as I mentioned before, from 2010 to 2019, the passenger industry, 5 to 6% growth year over year. There was no challenge in that. There was no need to develop these skills, to be agile and innovative and need to collaborate. So when a problem happened, when a crisis, when the brick wall came and they hit, many people in many organizations didn't know how to respond. Cargo people said, okay, that's today's problem. I will resolve it. The same as I resolved yesterday's problem, and the same as I will resolve tomorrow's problem. So the training has to continue in that same vein.
Excellent. And that training will also go to the level of freight forwarders as well, right? And all members of the supply chain.
Listen, and I know you mentioned about Maersk, and I think many of us have seen similar actions in the past. If somebody would say to me, what's the role of the freight forwarder going forward, I'd say it's 50 times more important than it's been in the past. If you look at the world, and sorry, Sam, just one other quick comment about where we are now economically. 2016, 2017, 2018, the global economy was at risk because we had an administration in the US that was taking on China, that was taking on the EU. There were trade barriers, there were tariffs, there was a real slowdown, and in fact there were many prohibitors of growth in the global economy. Those have kind of melted away now. The logistic experts to move stuff from here to there does not rest within the carriers. The carrier's expertise is moving that stuff in a safe, secure fashion. I mean, if you look at my colleagues to the left, they've got CEIB certification in every area. They've got specialization, live animals, perishables, pharmaceuticals, temperature sensitive. If you were then to say, right now I need you to work with 10 million shippers who don't know the regulations, don't know how to package stuff, certainly don't know how to build up pallets, certainly don't know what happens when this airport's congested, where else can I move it? That's not the expertise. So the forwarder role is critical going forward.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Now, Fatih, e-commerce, for example, is going to be huge in the future, right? And how do you see the post-COVID cargo capacity situation from year to come being able to cope with the growth of e-commerce and for your airline being able to respond adequately to the requirements of e-commerce?
Yes, I definitely agree with you.
Can't hear.
Perfect. I absolutely agree. Yes, e-commerce has huge potential, and we've got started feeling it more and more after the beginning of the COVID. So of course we are trying to respond as much as we can do as per the capacity wise. We are trying to support more to the markets. And also, yesterday, probably you've seen the presentation, we have also finished the construction of hub in Istanbul, new hub. So there will be a special handling site for e-commerce also. We are planning with these offers with the digitalization, increasing the high number of the ratio of the FSUs as messaging. All these parts we are trying to improve ourselves to serve e-commerce customers better, and satisfaction level needs to be brought together. Because they are offers more time sensitive than any others. And potential increasing more and more. As you mentioned, other companies like Amazon's, because of this sensitivity and volume, expect to make their own operation, and maybe they are going to be, and of course maybe they are right now in turning to competitor somehow. So we are seeing in this opportunity in these markets, and of course with all this in our hands, try to support. And we catch the potential in somehow in air carrier level. Yeah, I can say.
Okay, good. It is good to see that you guys are gearing up now to be able to use Istanbul and the new cargo terminal to handle the needs of the growing market.
Absolutely. We are planning for years. Absolutely, all people in the room have seen the potential of e-commerce 5 years, and it will grow more and more. Of course, right now the speed is high speed, is super fast, but it was years ago we planned it, and it's going to be used as an advantage right now. So we will enjoy
Okay, thank you. Christoph, let me just go back to you now with regards to your views about the current increase in the rates that's been sort of the wall. And like you said before, you're saying that we have to do something about it. So this is come back to now. How will the industry be able to get back to the confidence of the shippers and maybe some forwarders like this to get that confidence back again, but then get back to normal, and the rates get back to normal as well?
Yes, thank you, Sean, for the question. I get you for the increase of the rates, right? That's happening, which obviously it is something normal in the way it's market and demand, and obviously the industry and the freight forwarders, we do understand the increase. I was reading some statistics. The last 3 months in China, there is a 40% increase on the block stake, on the BSA rate. That means from a proper contract, which is all year round or seasonal, is a 40%. However, the market rates, which pretty much are controlled by the master loaders, are approximately 200%. So we have to understand in some places, particularly like in Asia, they are not the airlines that they pretty much dictate the rates. They are the master loaders, which try to be advantage also in the situation. Those I already have some logical agreements. I would say it's very normal that we see the airlines are the rates are increasing, and let's be realistic, as we said before, the airlines have lost a lot of money during the pandemic, so they need to find a way to make it up, but they have to put a lot of efforts with the freighters and the problems that have with the ground handling and so on. So they're putting a lot of efforts. So we see that they're putting a lot of efforts, the airlines recently. The problem is some of the airlines, we get a lot of complaints of what they do, and that is a concern, what's happening recently, especially in China. A lot of the airlines, I don't know if all of you know, but when it comes to block space agreements out of China, the agreement is based on a flight number. So you can sign 2-3 mega pallets for a specific trading based on flights A, B, 1 to 3, for example. So sometimes you have 2 or 3 freighters during the weekend. So what some of the airlines they're doing lately, they're canceling one of those flights
they're coming back to the same aircraft, different flight number, they promoted a charter, so instead of selling the capacity at $4 a kilometer of space, they're asking for 13 to the same clients. So that creates a bit of a, so you see a lot of freight forwarders and master loaders in Asia that start to complain in the way that, okay, we understand, but enough is enough. You can find different type of ways to increase the rate than using this kind of message. Of course, it's not only airlines, and a few, but these are small things that, of course, everything is so quick and everything is changing daily, rapidly. But there are small, some very sensitive issues that the whole industry needs to realize that we are partners for a long time, and not short term. So that is pretty much what is happening. That is a concern, and now I represent a lot of our Chinese members in Asia, which are having these complaints recently. We see that happening more and more.
Okay, I mean that's good because ultimately when you look at a 200% rate increase during COVID, getting out of phase and getting the trust back would be a challenge for sure. Absolutely, no doubt about that. Okay, one last question for you. You are a GSA and you represent some airlines in your area, right? Where do you see the airfreight industry growing out of, let's say, Europe and Germany, say, in the next
He was definitely be part of the industry for all times and also in the future. There will be a wide range of markets, and we as a GSA, the middleman, as I mentioned it before, between the airline and the forwarder, we could help both sides. We could add for the airline valuable service, or we could add for the forwarder also valuable services. And this group gives the opportunity, especially also for us, to offer additional service to the small size forwarders in Germany and give additional also to the airlines, which are coming then maybe to us with a question. E-commerce is one of the major parts. I see that as well, but I see that differently. E-commerce is for me a product, because e-commerce, we and I don't know how many forwarders, agents which are sitting here in the room at the moment, are doing really door-to-door inside the e-commerce business. I think most of us taking that as cargo, put it in as a commodity in a container. That's where we need special warehouses, special handlings, etc. facilities, and you have to do it after review messages, of course, that is important for that, and handle that as normal cargo in a different way at a different rate. But the last mile, the final mile, customs clearance and delivery, that is not done by us, as far as I could see that. But I could see that to grow that. And what you mentioned about Amazon, I see that not completely, but I see it differently, especially in Europe. We have now the discussion about the FEMA. They start with new aircraft, additional aircraft. We have already the DHL, the TNTs, the UPS, and a lot of other ones flying every night, short range as well with these aircraft. So that has to be taken also in discussion and for the future of airfreight. Yes, I see a future, definitely on long range. And I have to say, I learned it here that yesterday also the drones are coming. And that gives also additional opportunities. So it is a quite good market. I still getting that shortly to hold for that, but I will not see all the developments, but there are a lot of things.
Absolutely. Well, great. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for your insights. Very much appreciated. I think you've given us something to look forward to in the future, and the current successes that the cargo people or the bus takers of game have a chance to actually remain where it is and also do our best as well. So thank you very much, and we appreciate your insights and show. Thank you.